Portland Trailblazers fall last night to the Golden State Warriors. Dubs picking up the dub against the hometown team down in the Bay Area. 130 to 120. Blazers covered.
They did.
Kind of a win.
Last second meaningless bucket. Meaningful for some.
It's a bad beat. It's going to be SVP and Stanford Steve going to have that on the old bad beats, my dude.
They let Simons walk into it and said, "Oh, you're going to let me take this? I bet."
Pa, bam. Well, last night was boy. That was a game. Defense, not a big point of emphasis there last night.
I will push back on that in a sense because the game plan was very clearly to try to disrupt Steph and Jimmy as much as possible, of which they did. Steph hit some egregious threes.
That one three where he just was like
threw it at the rim.
Yellow.
Yeah. But they top locked the living bejesus out of him. The Warriors, because they have these great connectors in Jimmy and Draymond, really were able to capitalize on points in the paint, on back cuts and all of the off-ball actions, the split cut actions that they run so much of, and they use Steph's gravity. But they said, GP2, go ahead and beat us. And he obliged. That's the difference in the game, is GP2 murdered them.
Volley right back, 130 points in 3 consecutive 30-plus point quarters they gave up.
Oh, no.
And Jimmy Butler, if you're taking him away, he had a triple-double.
Well, yeah. But that's what I mean, is the game plan was very clearly to make the others be more impactful. The problem was Gary Payton goes 4 of 6 from 3. Buddy Hield goes 6 of 9. Quentin Post goes 3 of 5.
Yeah, Buddy Hield's a guy you want to guard on the perimeter.
You're not wrong. But and I think the thing defensively where they had issues was in the non-Steph minutes. Because they got murdered in the non-Steph minutes because Banton and Wap really struggled collectively 1 of 10. It's not the reason they lost, but like when you lose that portion of the game, it gets so much more difficult.
Well, there is an element of the fact that the Blazers have been really damn good defensively all season long. Mm-hmm. And you talked about this the other day, the fact that the pacing of the Blazers has picked up.
Quite a bit.
And offensively, it has. That has coincided with the defensive numbers going down, though. And I wonder, there's a lot of things that you could point to. Long road trip, a lot of games, late in the year. You do have a lot of guys who are young that are playing unfamiliar territory in the minutes and length of the season. But, I mean, the numbers are the numbers, and they're giving up more points than they have.
Last 2 weeks, they're 15th in the league in defense. Mm-hmm. They're still or above, I should say, in a good way, league average. League average is 116.6 over the last 2 weeks. They're at 115.7. So there has been some.
15th would put them
smack
right
at
at the
middle.
average. Yeah.
But they still have positive point differential. One of the things that I think it hasn't really been the defense per se. It has been their inability to secure the defensive rebound, which part of defense, certainly.
And a lot of that also can be tied to pacing. Mm-hmm. Guys getting back, and you want to push the ball up the floor, and those rebounds are going to the offense boards. And that was a big part of last night. Text on the fan text line, there were so many times Tumani's defense got wasted because of second and third chance buckets. Like that.
Well, the Warriors on this great rebounding team, they had 12 offensive rebounds. But the Blazers did have 15. Chauncey, I thought, had a really good point in the postgame. It's not often that you're going to win the rebounding battle and have 30 assists and lose a game. He goes, you tip your cap. He's like, I don't like him losing.
No.
But the game plan was very clearly we're going to make the other guys beat us with efficiency, and they did. And that those are the times where why didn't you adjust? In an 82-game season, you don't adjust to Gary Payton II.
Yeah.
You just don't. You go, hey, he had a quarter. And if he has a game, then
I think that's
it's tough.
That aspect of it, when we look at what is the next step of this team, is that in the modern NBA, you can't just be a team that grinds teams down for 82 straight.
No.
You do have to have another gear
Yes.
offensively, and they're trying to show that right now.
Mhm.
You're seeing it takes a lot to put both the ends of the floor together. And that's the bigger point here is that, look, they scored 120 and they gave up 130. There's gonna be where this franchise eventually turns into a good team is when they meet in the middle there.
It's
and
the
guess
margins.
what? Guess what happens? Star player is the big difference there.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like the Warriors are they remind me a lot of the Clippers in the sense of they're just a veteran laden team. They're just gonna win every 50-50 ball, every little opportunity, all the little nuts and bolts on the edges that you're trying to nail down and screw down. That's where they're gonna win. That's where veteran teams win. Like young guys make like. And I'm not beating up on him. Shaden had a drive late where he dribbles into traffic a little too deep, loses the ball, live ball turnover. Deni drives in too deep, live ball turnover. Scoot drives in too deep, live ball turnover. And you had these opportunities where the Blazers either generated a steal, got the rebound, and were going, and they weren't. They had it to 4 or 5, and they couldn't quite get it into that next gear to really put the pressure on the Warriors. And then they came down. Steph hits a 3, Moody hits a shot, and you just like. That's the difference in the game last night.
Well, and again, bright spot, Shaden Sharp was not hitting, but
a near triple-double.
He was functional in the game, and so effort was not in question. Deni Avdija
was a monster.
My goodness. He was all over the place.
If Deni hits threes, he is very capable of he goes from having good nights to great nights.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, 5 of 7 from 3, 7 of 7 from the free throw line, 16 rebounds, the 6 turnovers. Like that's the thing where it's like, it wasn't just Shaden, it wasn't just Scoot, it was Deni, it was Donovan, not securing defensive rebounds.
Yep.
Just the younger guys, you could tell 9 games in 9 different cities in 15 days. The lack of concentration in very specific moments or going a little bit outside the box. Like that was literally the difference in this game.
Well, yeah, 28 points off turnovers. That seems significant.
That's going to kill you.
That seems very significant. Well, they lost, and it wasn't really. I'm not upset about it.
Look, it's their 4th straight loss now, and where that puts them in the play-in. I mean, the math is mathing pretty hard.
Let's talk about that because don't.